Lions game. The Detroit Lions game was theirs to lose, and they lost it. It's not that Brock Purdy was so fantastic, because Brock Purdy, he did some nice stuff. He had some nice throws, but he didn't come alive until that second half. It wasn't that Debo was just running all over the field. I mean, not Debo, Christian McCaffrey. And it wasn't that Debo was doing his thing. It wasn't that Nick Bosa was sacking. It was the fact that Detroit choked. But I have not heard one single criticism about the Detroit Lions. Why is Detroit so protected amongst criticism?
I think they are getting critiqued, but it's not in a typical way that you expect anybody else to get critiqued. To me, I felt like we do got a new black person in the WWE black woman. Shout out.
What was that?
Jade Cargill. Lord Jesus.
No, you said a new black one. I mean, besides Jade, you said new.
That's what I was talking about.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I didn't necessarily feel like Jared Goff played terrible. Like, he played a pretty solid game. He was 25 for 41, finished with 273 on the passing on yards, and 6.7 yards per throw. Pretty good, pretty solid. But I think what do you say? Did your cause?
Yeah, I'm addressing that video done. I'm addressing that.
But yeah, he's to me, I feel like they lost this game with coaching being over aggressive. Because we know he's aggressive, but I'm gonna get there. And I feel like, because I talked to one of my homies that's a coach, and we feel like Detroit kind of swung for the fences a little too early in the offseason. And let me explain why.
Okay.
When you building a team, right, most people want to build through the draft. But when you build it through the draft, based on where you're at and where you're projected to be, it depends on how you draft. Now, when the draft was going on, everybody knew what was some of the main things you could improve on the defensive side. Some people wanted a quarterback, but most people realized you didn't necessarily need a quarterback in this moment. So we felt like they could have beefed up on the weapons and the defense.
True.
Now, they got Branch, which we was like, okay, that makes sense. But the first few picks was a running back, Jahmyr Gibbs,
right,
and the second one was Sam Laporta, a tight end. And we was like, in the football world, those picks, when you pick high at those positions, those are luxury positions that you pick at. Those the picks you pick at when you're a contender already, and you just need something to get you a little bit over. So when it's time to win that championship, you can.
Right.
So now you swung for the fences. You wasn't a playoff team before this year. You didn't make it.
That's true.
So it's a difference between, okay, you're close, you're in the playoffs, let's do that, versus you still needed a defense. Like, one thing we know about this Detroit team was it was good all around, but nothing was great.
No, nothing was great.
The offense was good, the defense is good, but nothing was great. So what happened to me was, on top of your coach being very aggressive, you just had a lot of young dudes out there making mistakes. Jahmyr Gibbs gave up a turnover before half that turned the tide and the momentum. You got dudes off the street who used to be a Bear that was trash named Kendall Vendor that had a pick in his hand and it slapped him right in his face.
Yeah, I saw that.
You got Sam Laporta not making all the plays that he could.
Right.
And then on top of that, you got a bonehead coach that want to just not take the points you do a fake punt and stuff like that, not go for field goals and stuff like that. And that's why you lost the game. So to me, how I felt, like, you remember when you was asking me how I feel about Oregon, I was like, something gonna cost us.
Yeah.
That's how I felt about Detroit. Because I said him, our coach, Oregon coach, and Dan Campbell is almost one and the same. He's just younger.
Yeah.
They're just over aggressive. And I said, one day that aggressiveness is gonna bite you. Right. And it did.
And I think to sum it up, I think with Detroit, team full of good players, no great players. And goodness will take you so far until it's time to be great, and you realize you can't be. Right? And the playoffs is where great players shine, right? That's why Tom Brady can roll through the playoffs. That's why, Patrick Mahomes can roll through the playoffs. That's why T.O. with a broken foot can roll through the playoffs, because it's made for great players, and your goodness will stop. And honestly, they had one coming, so shout out, great season. I doubt if they repeat that again, and I doubt if they're that good next year. I do want to answer this question since Naaman threw it out here.
Yeah, I can hit his.
Let me answer this, brother Pastor Naaman. This one, I'm answering your question. Yes, you did. It was about 15 years ago. Yeah, 15 years ago.
That down memory lane.
Right.